Hey my friends, welcome back to my kitchen. In this video, we're gonna do a quick review of the Ninja Detect 1800. There is a lot to this system that I cannot wait to test out and review for you. So we're gonna do ice crush tests, we're gonna do smoothie tests, we're gonna do some food processor and grating and slicing testing. We're gonna test the sound that actually comes from the blender so you can know how loud it is. Most importantly, we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it all. And really quick, I want you to know, Ninja did not sponsor this video in any way. I spent my own money on all this so that my review and my testing could be as fair and balanced as possible. And of course, if you decide this is the right blender for you, or you want to buy any of the other blenders that I have reviewed, I've linked them in the description below. If you use that link, it throws me a few bucks for doing these videos, and it doesn't cost you a thing. It's a win-win. So thank you so much for the support. All right, my friends, now let's get into it. This is an 1800 watt unit. It's very powerful. Should have no contest going up against any food that you put into it, but we're gonna test that and see. This is the Detect, meaning it has a feature that I'm gonna talk more about in just a second, but it's supposed to be able to detect the food that you have in the blender and then adjust its speed and time accordingly without you doing anything. It's like a little blending robot. So there's a lot of interesting things about this that I wanna find out if it's true or helpful. And we're also gonna do a sound test so you can know what it's actually like to use this and how loud it's gonna be in multiple different scenarios. I wanna tell you about everything that comes in the box so you know what to expect when you get it. Of course, you have the base motor unit right here. You have the blending pitcher right here. We're gonna go over all the details and features of each of these things in just a second. You also have the food processor unit right here with a feed lid that is detachable and lockable. We'll talk about that in just a second. That comes with the food processing blade inside of it. It also comes with a dough hook, which is really cool. And then it has a chopping and slicing or grating wheel right here with that post and unit. And then finally, it comes with a personal use smoothie maker cup with its accompanying blade and a to-go cup that is sealable. Let's go through the features of each one of these parts. Of course, you have the motor base here, and you'll notice I'm trying to pick it up and I can't very easily get it picked up because there are 4 massive, very powerful suction cup feet on the bottom that helps with keeping the unit in place, and they're shock absorbing as well. So got this thing plugged in. It's got about a 2.5 foot cord, so you do want to be kind of close to power. You're going to need an extension cord. We'll go ahead and turn it on with the power button right there. You can see this cool little LCD screen right here that lights up. First off, manual. It starts at speed 1. And you can turn it all the way up to speed 10. Like I said, this is variable and you can adjust it while you're actually running the blender, and then you just hit the middle of the button to start it. On the blend sense, all it's going to do is just be right like this, and it's waiting for you to push start, and then it's gonna sense what's in the blender and adjust accordingly. And then we have mode here where you have large chop, small chop, and mince. These are all settings for the food processor as you think about all the different things that you can put into the food processor. And then of course you have pulse, and if you push that, it's gonna run the motor as long as you're holding it down. As soon as you release it, it releases the motor. Features of the XL pitcher itself. This is a 64 ounce max liquid, 72 ounce max pitcher. It's got a really nice large handle, really easy to grab onto when you're cooking. It has that classic Ninja style lid with the big release button to unlock the lid, and then this handle pulls up so you can take the lid off. Couple things about the lid is it has this really nice funnel pouring spout. So you know the experience of pouring out your smoothie, and it's gonna come out wider than your cup or your bowl. That's what this little pour spout is for. It has a nice releasing lid that seals up nice. It also has a strainer right there. So no big chunks of ice or anything is really going to be able to come through that. There's the removable blade, which goes the full length of the entire pitcher, and it actually, that pin goes into this hole inside the lid, and that adds strength to the blade so that it can easily chop through whatever it is you put inside of this thing. Blade is removable, so you can clean that carefully, clean that separately, and then you can clean out this pitcher without caring too much about the blade. Let's talk about the food processor. It's a 64-ounce max volume. There is a locking mechanism on the lid. So there's this little button right here on the lid. You push that and twist. It unlocks the lid and allows you to take it off. And then you have this nice little pusher and the access for being able to chop and shred things. So as you put vegetables or cheese or whatever in there, you can use that. It also comes obviously with a 4-blade processing blade as well that's removable. You can clean that carefully, and then you can clean out the food processor without any worry of getting cut. We also have the dough hook right here, so you just place that in, same sort of thing, and it connects, both of those blades and hooks connect to the top as well. And then you have the actual chopper and grater. So this blade is reversible. So when you have it up like this, the blade on the top, that's gonna be a slicing blade. When you turn it over, that's gonna be a grating blade. Now, one thing to know about this is that there's only one size of grating that you can do with this because it's a single blade, and one's for slicing, one's for grating. You can't really grade anything fine. It comes with this post right here. You just place the post down in the food processor, choose the side that you wanna use, pop that in, put the lid on, pull out the feeder, and you get the idea. We're gonna demonstrate that in just a second. And finally, you have the personal smoothie cup. This is a 21-ounce max smoothie cup. Of course, you have the blending lid that comes with it with this nice sharp blade, and this is really easy to clean all by itself. And then, as I mentioned, you have a to-go lid, so you can seal it off, and you can make whatever you want in this, take it with you. The first test I wanna do is just a sound test with nothing in the blender. Let's see how loud the motor is. And in order to do this, I'm just going to use the pulse button, hold it down here for a couple seconds, and we'll get a read on exactly how loud this motor is. Here we go. So with nothing in the blender, it reads at 95.6 decibels. Most of the blenders that I've tested are anywhere from 95 to 104 decibels with nothing in it. So it's on the low end of sound with nothing in it. So next I wanna do an ice test with you. One of the cool things about some of these higher end blenders that are really powerful is they can actually shave ice down to something that's like snow cone consistency. So with this, we're just gonna use the blend sense mode. And as you can see right now, all the lights are blinking and it has a little light called install. That's because I've taken the lid off of the pitcher, so it senses not only something on the blender, but it also senses if the lid is on. I also have my sound meter running so we can see the difference between motor with nothing in it and ice in it. Here we go. Blender sound with just ice in it, only 99.8. That's actually relatively low to other ones that I've tested, but let's see how it shaved this ice. Oh yeah, take a look at that. You can't get ice any finer than that. It's very consistent. There's a couple of large pieces in there, but for the most part, that's really great. I also only ran it for, less than a minute. Oh, that's cold. Woo. Next test I wanna do is a smoothie in the smoothie cup. So when I make a smoothie, I try to put my softest ingredients down at the bottom first so all of that can get mixed up before the frozen ingredients get down there. So it's a bit more liquefied. But in this case, because we're turning the cup upside down, I'm actually going to do my hard and frozen ingredients first and then my softer ingredients after that. So first, I'm gonna put the ice in. I like my smoothies to be pretty frozen. This is about a cup, just under a cup of frozen mixed berries. Then I'm going to do my Greek yogurt. The thicker items like peanut butter or Greek yogurt, I wanna have it towards the top. Just helps the blender do well. Next, I got a heaping cup of baby spinach. We're making good use of this space here. It's gonna get tight. And then lastly, half a fresh banana. Once again, I have my decibel meter measuring out every move that we make with this thing. I'm gonna keep it on the blend sense and just see what it does. So just noticing that's kind of cool. I had a countdown. It also told me what mode it was going into. This thing looks very blended. They probably did 5 or 6 different cycles of slowing down and then speeding back up, which is cool. The max decibels for the smoothie was 103.5 decibels. So it's getting up there a little bit as we get a little bit more substance into the blender. Now I filled this to the max, probably a little bit more than it should have been, and it handled really well. Let's check out the consistency. All the ingredients are really well integrated. So next I wanna test the slicer and the shredder. I've actually tested the dough hook in another video, so I'm not going to test that on this video. If you want to check that out, you can go check out my review of the Ninja Mega and see how the dough hook works. This one is unique because it has this slicer shredder. So I've got a carrot and I've got some cheese, and I want to try both settings, both blades on both the carrot and the cheese, and just see how it works. All right, so we're going to turn this on, and we want to go to mode, and we want to spin the wheel up until it hits disc. And once we hit disc, then I think we can just, I don't know, I've never done this before, but we'll just start it. That's wild. That goes really fast. We'll just open this up, take a look. Basically what we have here is some nicely chopped carrots, definitely some variations in size. So if you're trying to create something that's really uniform, this didn't work very well. If you're just trying to slice them to get them into a different dish and it doesn't matter what they look like, then that's great. There's no actual way to slow it down enough to where it feels manageable to me. Honestly, it feels really fast. And that can be helpful if you're just trying to get something done fast. I'm gonna switch it back over to the disc mode rather than have that variable speed. Okay, this is not quite the experience that I was hoping for. It's a little bit chaotic. It shredded the carrot really well. The user experience is not exactly what I would hope for. Next, I want to try slicing some cheese. I don't want to do this whole block of slices, so I'm going to do it real quick. I'm going to go back to mode, go to disc. So I'm going to put the cheese in there, and I'll hit start. Slicing cheese doesn't really work that well. If you wanted to do slices for a sandwich, it's just not gonna work. They're pretty thick slices and they're very, very different. I'm sure grating the cheese would be a totally different experience. I like it to go a little bit slower so I can get everything in there and I don't feel like I gotta rush to feed it. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned up, give you my final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up. All right, so for me, pros on the Ninja Detect. I think it's got a lot of really cool accessories. I love some of the details that they put into it. I think it's a really easy to use system as far as the modes go, and it's intuitive and it looks really cool. And the detect mode actually worked pretty well when we were making our smoothie. Cons. It's big and there's a lot of pieces, and so it takes a lot of cupboard real estate. So if I'm gonna use it a ton, it would be well worth the space that I'm gonna use it for. If I'm not gonna use it very often, I would not want something like this taking up this much space in my cabinets. Also, the food slicer and shredder was a bit intimidating to use, as you could see, and I don't actually think I would use it all that often if it's that hard to use. Another pro is it's relatively quiet. As with any blender, you're gonna have noise, but even other Ninja blenders that I've used, it's much quieter than those. All right, my friends, I hope this video has been helpful in deciding whether or not the Detect blender is the right blender for you. As a reminder, I've linked it in the description below, along with some other blenders that I've reviewed if this one isn't quite scratching the itch. If this video has been helpful for you, please be willing to like it, subscribe to the video so you don't miss a single review or recipe in my kitchen, and have a great day. Bye.